Good evening, folks. Welcome to our midweek edition of Two Guys and a Mic. I'm one of your hosts, Ron Pierce, better known as RP.
And I'm your other host, Big Sean. I hope everyone's doing well this evening.
Hopefully, everybody is completely dug out from that ridiculous snowstorm that we had here on Tuesday, Monday going into Tuesday, and then pretty much all day Tuesday. I mean, it was.
Yep, and the storm was still kicking my ass today. This morning, I had a very long day. Just a little quick story here on my way to work. Driveway was clear, streets was pretty much clear, but I guess the plows left a pile of, I don't know, crud, like right on the apron of my driveway.
And they always
so I'm pulling out. It looks like it's soft, right? It looks like it's a pile of slush. So I said, okay. So I gun it back out because one thing too, my tires were as bald as Isaac Hayes. So I've been kind of driving around on these bald tires for the longest. Me being the procrastinator that I am, didn't get any new tires. So there's that. So I gun it out the driveway and I hear this, I don't know, just like this grinding sound under my car. So I stopped. So that pile of slush that I thought it was ice. It was solid.
Straight ice. Just straight
ice. So I should have just kept going. But of course, when you hear something rubbed up against your car, you stop. So I stopped. And of course, with my bald tires, was stopped on an ice slick and couldn't go anywhere. And I was in the middle of the street.
Wow.
The whole ass end out of my car was blocking the street with enough room for people to go around. So I'm sitting here looking like an idiot. Everybody looking at me like I'm crazy. So I'm looking at my neighbors, So I'm looking at my neighbor's driveway. Everybody else's driveway is clear. Everybody's zooming in and out, going about their day, and I'm sitting there looking stupid. Can't go anywhere. So I was like, well, I'll sit here and maybe the heat from the car will start to melt some of that ice, and it may take an hour or so, but it is what it is. Because really, to where I was, it wasn't nobody that could really help. Tow truck, nothing, getting a nudge. I was like, I ain't about to go through all of that. Finally, my neighbor sees me out there looking like an idiot. And he comes out with, he had one of them old school metal shovels, like one of those old coal mining shovels. He was like, come on, man, let's go. Let's get you up out of here. So I had an old plastic shovel. That wasn't doing nothing with all that ice. I tried the cardboard, took some cardboard boxes under everything, and it wasn't, nothing was moving. So finally, we chip away the ice. So he pushes me, gets me out, but then he falls. And I feel horrible that he fell in the street helping me out, but he was good. And at that point in time, I said, forget work. I'm going to get me some tires because I can't be out here like this.
Yeah.
Get to the tire place on the west side. I'm over there in Parma at Discount Tire. Got a great deal, but everybody and their mama was trying to get tires. So he was like, it's going to be a little while away. I get there about 11:30. About 3:30, they finally take my car back. And I'm stuck there. I can't go nowhere. I can't get no ride. Can't nobody come get me. I'm not paying an Uber to take me back home all the way back over.
To have to come all the way back.
Here. Right. So I'm stuck. So me and this lady were there the whole time. So she finally gets her car, right? So I'm thinking, okay, mine should be ready in about 15 minutes. Time keeps going by nothing. Man, about 5 o'clock, I look outside to what I think I see my car sitting out there ready. So I go over to the dude. I'm like, dude, what's up? And he's like, Sean Davis. I'm like, yeah. Mind you, it's 5:15. He's like, your car was ready at 4:05. We were calling you, but the phone was going straight to voicemail. Dude, I've been sitting right here since 11:30.
Why y'all calling me and I'm sitting in the building?
Right. And I don't see no missed calls. Now I went to the bathroom a couple of times, but they're coming out calling names. I'm waiting to hear my name. I didn't hear my name being called, and he was like, "Man, I'm sorry." Like, I'm like, dude, at this point, I'm just happy my car is done. Y'all gave me a good deal on my tires. Man, I got 4 tires for with warranty and all of that for like $400.
Oh yeah, that's a lick.
So now, did I get the top of the line tires? No, but you know, for what I need to do to get me through for right now.
Yeah. I mean, hell, we're in prime. Again, we kind of mentioned this during a couple weeks ago when the Browns were having some bad weather. You know, when you live on a lake, which we do here in Cleveland, it's this is prime lake effect snow time because the lake is not frozen over. So when that cold air comes down
Oh
across
yeah.
the warm lake, it just creates this what they call lake effect. It's an effect of the cold and the warm, and it just blows everything.
Basically, Lake Erie turns into a slushy machine.
Yeah,
In a
and
nutshell.
it's all bad. It's all bad for us.
Because the thing that we hope for, we always hope we want an early freeze to freeze that doggone lake over early in the wintertime. So we don't have to worry about it.
Yeah,
Last year we didn't get any. Last year we hardly got any snow at all.
But it didn't really freeze last. It would freeze and then it would open up. Then it would freeze and it would open up. Like we have a real cold period. But I think last year was a decent in terms of snow. It was decent.
It was very. Man, if you think about it, man, I think this one snow we had Tuesday was probably more than we got all last winter.
I believe so. It was people who said they got like 20 inches, or 22 inches.
I think we got about at least 12, and it was literally 2 feet.
We got about a foot or so here.
It was 2 feet of snow drift on my car. I literally had to take the shovel to get the snow off my car. That's how bad it was over here. So
yeah, I mean, it's always more a little worse, more inland. I basically live. I live roughly about a mile from the lake, so it wasn't as.
For some reason, y'all don't get hit as hard. I don't understand that. Why Euclid in that area don't get hit as hard as everybody else?
Well, if you go out to a little further east, in
the Snowball Manor, yeah.
But that's how it blows across, and I think we're right at that point where it starts blowing across. So as it comes across us, like as we go further west, people further west didn't have
the west side. They don't get any. Yeah.
But we got, for us to get the type of snow we got, I knew everybody else were kind of hit. So, but here we are, midweek. We made it. Everybody's safe. Everybody's sound. Thankfully, because it didn't have to go that way. So praise the Lord. But we are on the brink and the cusp as sports fans of a pretty big game. I just was chatting with Sean a little bit ago because if you can see my face, I'm sure you guys can. I'm kind of giddy and excited because for the first time in a long time, the Browns are playing an important game in December. They're playing an important game against an important opponent in December as well. So it's not just, oh, we win this game like last week when we were playing against the Jags, or we got to win this game to keep pace. This is, like a game where you're playing and facing a playoff caliber team, a team that's going to be tough to put out because of how they're built. And that team,
the game that they need the game as well. They need the game just as bad as we
everybody, do. We all need this game because they haven't wrapped up their division. They had a big win last week against a division rival, but they haven't wrapped up their division yet. So this game is huge. You got 2 8-3 teams, the Browns, going into Nashville against the 8-3 Titans, as I just said. And it's going to be a pretty big game, and I'm pretty excited. I'm nervous. I haven't been nervous for a Browns game in a long time, but I got those weird butterflies that you get.
Exactly.
Right. We gotta pull this out.
That anticipation.
I feel
you
like
get that feeling like you don't. Yeah, like I don't feel very confident going into this game, only because of our defense. If our defense was a little better, I would feel a little better. But just thinking about Derrick Henry, man, and Derrick Henry is one of my favorite running backs to watch in the NFL.
Yeah, for sure.
Just from his pure size, speed, he runs with a kind of a grace. He's very graceful for a guy that big.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about how bad our defense is. We can't stop these regular guys out here, let alone him. And, I'm looking about the third, fourth quarter, they start wearing down. It might turn into the Derrick Henry show.
Right.
So
you kind of hit on it. But let's go ahead and get into the overview of the game, man. As Sean just pointed out, actually, I'll do a bigger overview. Sean gave us one half of it, but I'll give a complete overview. We actually have 2 of the best running offenses in the National Football League bumping heads coming on Sunday.
Yep.
The Browns are right there because of our running game, and the Titans are right there because of their running game. We also have a clashing, which is rare anymore, because within the last couple of years, they've given away the whole thing about the running backs. Now the running backs are coming back to being important in the NFL. So for the first time in what you can remember, you have an elite running back versus an elite running back. And of course, they don't play against each other, but we got two of the best running backs in the game going against each other, and Nick Chubb and Derrick Henry. They both have similar running styles, but they're both different kinds of backs. You know, Derrick Henry is a north-south guy, just like Nick Chubb is a north-south guy. They're both tough to tackle. They're both very shifty. I think Nick Chubb has better eyes. His vision is much better. That's not a knock on Derrick Henry, because I just think Derrick Henry knows what he's doing, and he's got a pretty good offensive line in front of him. But Nick Chubb can get out of, he doesn't have many negative runs. And for a guy his size, you know, Derrick Henry is just a big dude. He's the size of most linebackers and even potentially some of the defensive linemen that are chasing.
And on top of that, he already has almost 1,300 yards already.
Yeah, already.
Left.
Already.
That's crazy.
I mean, Nick is over 1,000 yards, and he missed 4 games. So that, again, is another testament to how good. So when people say, oh, I don't think they're equal, they ain't necessarily equal, but Nick ain't less than this guy. Last year, guess who the two guys were fighting for the league lead? These same two dudes. Yep. It was the same two dudes.
Thanks to Freddie Kitchens.
Freddie dumbass.
Chubb didn't get his rushing title.
Freddie dumbass. But, you know, so here we are in this game. And let me tell you guys something. Derrick Henry is a monster. For those of you who may not know anything about Derrick Henry, I mean, this dude is like 6'2", 6'3", like 235, 240 pounds. But he can run as fast as a guy my size, 5'10", 190 pounds. And he's strong as an ox. You know, he's got solid vision. He's got a good offensive line. He's going to be a problem. And I agree with Sean. I'm nervous about what we're going to do against him. He, as Sean pointed out, he's got 1,300 yards, 1,300 plus yards going into this game. So he is the apparent league leader in rushing. Last week, he ran against the Colts defense that is supposed to be pretty decent against the run. He ran for 178 yards and 3 touchdowns on 27 carries. Stupid. It's ridiculous.
Right.
So that's stupid. A couple weeks ago, they played the Ravens, didn't they? And he ran roughshod over them too.
I think so. Yeah, they beat the Ravens in overtime.
Yeah,
and the Ravens kind of held them in check. And the Ravens held them in check for 3 quarters.
They did a good job.
Kind of in the 4th quarter in overtime, he took over.
They did a good job. But when it came down to it, like you said a little bit ago, it gets to a point in the game where this dude is just kind of coming at you. He's just going to keep coming. And they know it, Tennessee. Their coach is the old school kind of guy. He thinks like old school guys, like pound that ball in their face. And we keep pounding that ball in their face, eventually they're going to break, especially with this dude running at them. Because you just get tired of tackling a guy that's as big as you and is hitting you as hard as you're hitting him. You know, so moving away from the run game, you got Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill is not a great quarterback, but he's a solid quarterback who's kind of rejuvenated himself.
You know what? And that shows you what coaching can do.
Absolutely.
And if you think about it, I just thought about this. The way Tennessee brought Tannehill along is similar to what I kind of see Stefanski doing with Mayfield. Remember I said a couple of weeks ago?
Yep.
Where I said because Mayfield has learned a new offense, they're treating him like a rookie. Mm-hmm. So if you remember when Tannehill got to Tennessee that first year, because he took over from Mariota. This was it last year? It was last year.
Last year. It was the middle of last year.
Middle of last year. Yeah, it's been on last year. Tannehill, they were hardly throwing the football. Matter of fact, we all thought Tannehill was going to be a liability. I think in the playoff game when they beat New England, he had something, 80 yards passing?
Yeah.
Something like that. Didn't have that many more against Baltimore. And then against KC, he had a little bit more. But now that he's been in the offense for a year now, he's more comfortable. Now they're letting him loose a little bit more. So now if you try to put 8-9 in the box to stop Henry, they got a pretty good receiving core. You got Corey Davis, you got AJ Brown, who's a very physical receiver. There's somebody else in that receiving core too that's pretty decent. They got a couple of good tight ends too.
Yeah, they got decent tight ends. They have very decent tight ends.
Right. So it's going to be a tough order, man. I think the Browns, number one, because I was looking at a couple of things here. They're going to have to force some turnovers on defense. At least one. Either that or you're going to need a special teams play. Because I'm looking at Tennessee stats here, like their turnover differential. Tennessee doesn't turn the ball over. So they're tied for second in the NFL and takeaway ratio. They're plus 11. So they've only turned the ball over 5 times. So Tannehill has thrown 4 interceptions, and they only have 1 fumble, as opposed to the Browns, where the Browns we actually have more takeaways than Tennessee by 1. Tennessee has 16 takeaways. We have 17. But lately, we've had a turnover bug. So we have 7 interceptions, thrown 7 interceptions, and 5 fumbles. So that's going to be a huge key. Like, we cannot turn the ball over.
Nope.
And we're going to have to somehow force a turnover from Tennessee, because I don't think going mano for mano, score for score, I don't think that we're going to be able to do that with them. Like in a boxing match. I don't think we can stand and go toe-to-toe with them at this point in our development.
I think eventually we're going to have something else occur. Like you said, I think, like, whether it's a punt return, kickoff return, a fumble or
field goal, something.
Something
to turn the tide.
You're going to have to get something else happening because of how that situation goes. Now, they have a decent offensive line, as I said before. Like, Tannehill is one of the least sacked people in the league, sacked quarterbacks in the league, being more specific. They also as we know, they run the ball really, really well. So that offensive line is solid. But, that's kind of a staple. Mike Vrabel is kind of an old school thinker in terms of how to play football. I think he came from that, the old school Big Ten, 3 yards in a cloud of dust type of theory.
Right.
Because he was at Ohio State during his college career when that was still what we did. Like, we pound you. You rarely had receivers getting over 1,000 yards and 10, 12 touchdowns. That was rare back when Vrabel played. And I think then he ended up with the Patriots, and it was the same thing. Like, it was similar. Like, we just got to run when we need to run. We got smart quarterback play. It's a simple theory, but it's hard to implement. But I think they're doing it there. They got good,
especially in today's NFL, and everybody is pass happy.
Yeah,
everybody wants to pass. It's hard to have that.
But you have to understand that at the end of the day, you can throw all over the goddamn field. But at the end of the day, you have to play playoff football, because playoff football is what's going to get you through. And he understood or understands, especially having come from New England, you're going to have to play in some cold weather. You're going to have to play against, good defenses. You're going to have to play some nasty, sloppy, ugly games. And you're going to have to win. But that's something that I kept harping on about the Browns, that we have to learn how to compete. in those ugly games, in those tough games to get past. So that's something that they're really good at. So let's switch gears real quick to the Browns. Um, the Browns run defense is not great. It's average. But guess what? So is Tennessee's run defense. They're average.
Yeah, their defense is very average. Like in Tennessee doesn't get a lot of pressure on the quarterback either.
They don't get much quarterback pressure at all. Of course, we'll go into our wheelhouse and grab out our biggest tool, which is Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb is on par, right with Derrick Henry, to me, in terms of his ability and in terms of what he's capable of.
Oh, no doubt.
So
no doubt.
I'm not taking no back seats at all. Like, I don't think we're taking a back seat at all in terms of talent. We're not like hoping our kind of mediocre guy's gonna just show up. We got a stud just like they have a stud. Last week, Nick ran for 144 yards?
144 on 19 carries.
7.5 yards a carry, right? So the potential for him to do that again is right there. So I think what's going to end up happening is the potential that the run games kind of are a wash. And
we're going to need that too. And we're going to need that because we need to keep them off the field. Well, we need to keep our defense off the field, and we need to keep Derrick Henry off the field as much as possible.
I think it's going to be
this game may come down to whoever has the ball last.
It could,
will win one of those type of games, man.
Also, it's going to be 47 degrees right around kickoff. 47 degrees, partly cloudy. Not any weather effects that should affect the game. Nothing that should affect the game. So we're looking at another kind of Jacksonville type situation where nothing bad is happening with the weather. The wind ain't out of control. It's not rainy. It's not slippery. So you should get some decent play out of everyone. Last week, my guy, Juice Landry, went for, I think this was his first 100-yard game last week.
It was.
So my thought is that he feels better. He feels a little healthier because I know he's been banged up all year. And he's been slowed basically by his surgery, off-season surgery, only to get a broken rib or two. So he's been in a bad spot physically. Last week, it was good to see him kind of, moving around like we expect to see Juice moving around, getting loose. And here's something that I didn't know, too. I'm just running down all of the overview stuff before we get to our actual keys. The Browns are 6-1 in games that Nick Chubb has played in. I didn't realize we were that positive on the win side this season. We're 6-1 in the games that Nick has played in because Nick's effect on the game is so ridiculous for us. Like to us, he is like he's like your sawed-off shotgun. You want to go to a gunfight and you see guys shooting at you with a little handgun, and you got this sawed off. You're like, yeah, I see where they shooting from. Clap, clap, boom. Like, and he's that guy. He's the guy that's like, boom. You thought you was gonna stop this guy. You thought you had that whole.
He's flat out. You know what? And the weird thing about Nick Chubb, he just flat out the heart and soul of the football team. It doesn't say more than 2 words.
He don't say nothing.
And I'm trying to think of somebody that's kind of comparable in the past, but I can't think of anybody like that.
It's 2 people who I could think of off the top of my head that he kind of reminds me of, but I don't think that's enough. Like, I was thinking Kawhi Leonard, like a quiet guy that don't say a lot, but you just kind of show up when you need to show up. But I don't think that's enough. I think he's better.
The difference is too, like Kawhi has a huge ego.
And that's that's why I said I think
Nick doesn't show the ego.
I think it's different. I think Nick don't care. Like, he won this week. He won like the Snickers.
I saw the commercial. He was saying like he didn't want to do it.
He was like, in the snow with the stadium behind him, just like with the chain on, like I mean, it was crazy. Like it was
You're like,
crazy.
get me out of here.
Like, yeah,
Right.
like man, come on. But at the same time, it still was like so Cleveland because he in the snow, no hat. He just standing there like, yeah, I got it. So now what? Let's go. Let's keep it moving. Because
Right.
in my mind, I'm like, why the hell are
Game.
these dudes at the stadium anyway right now? Y'all need to be at Berea and then go home.
Right.
Type. It's a
Right.
snowstorm. What are y'all doing?
Right.
You know what I mean? And you a Georgia boy. I know you don't want no parts of this stuff. But
Well, I do know that Nick Chubb stays over there though. I Ubered. I picked up either his sister, his aunt, or his mama. I don't know
okay. He said the
what
nine or
relation she
something.
was to
That's
him, huh?
that's far. Downtown is far from Berea, bro.
Yeah, so I picked her up at the airport, and Nick Chubb stays down those apartments down on West 9th.
Yeah, I'm saying that's far from
Yeah, it is.
Berea. Like that's a hike. I
It
understand
is.
why Tito stay at the 9. It's right around the corner from where you about to go to work. But homie, I know when Braylon was in town, and Braylon wasn't the only one, because so did K2 and a bunch of other guys. They all stayed out of Avon and Westlake because it's
Yeah, that's where
close
most of the
to
Browns players stay. That's where
it's
most
close
of the
to Berea.
athletes in Cleveland stay. But you got a whole new crop of them now that want to stay downtown. 'Cause I think Higgins is downtown. I guess
But
some of those guys who don't want to invest in the house and stuff like that right away.
downtown is popping too. It's a lot to do downtown anymore. Kyrie stayed downtown for a while before he bought a house. He used to stay across the hall from my brother, actually.
Okay.
Right there on Euclid, between Euclid and Prospect, is a building down there.
Right. I
But
know what you're talking about.
also, as we go back into the Browns talk, Myles Garrett, he'll be back this week. So I'm hoping he opens up the
And
script
he
club.
should be hungry. Yeah, he
Yeah,
should be
I'm
nice
hoping
and
so.
hungry, missing 2 games.
Because I was watching the Steelers and the Ravens game yesterday, and I know you hate watching the Steelers Ravens games, but I watched it with a purpose. I always watch those games with a purpose because I feel like those teams are good teams, and I want my team to be a good team. So what are they doing? Like, what do I see in this game? However, yesterday was one of those times where I was watching the game thinking to myself, when we play them, we need to do this. Oh, I see
Yeah, right.
that's working. They do this when they do, like Pittsburgh has a really quick, Ben don't get touched because Ben throws the ball quick. Within 3 seconds, the ball is out. It's out. He already knows where
Yep.
he's going. He
And I
already
noticed too, his arm strength has diminished quite a bit.
Oh, for sure. For
He
sure.
doesn't have the same arm strength.
For sure.
But the thing I noticed the most between those two teams is just being physical on defense.
Mm-hmm.
Just bringing wood. Like on offense, they don't do anything crazy.
They
Of
don't do
course,
anything.
the Ravens do the run option with Lamar Jackson when he's healthy, which
But
isn't
listen,
easy to defend, but it's not anything that
I'll
it's
say
not a
this.
Kansas City type offense.
I'll say this. The fact that those guys had gotten down to their what's the third string quarterback's name? I had it on the tip of my
McSorley.
head. McSorley. The fact that you can go down to McSorley and you were in that game says something about how that offense is run. It says something about
Right.
the team too. Like the team just kept performing, whether it was RG3, whether it was McSorley, they didn't care. We got to catch this ball. We got to run this ball. They ran well against a really good Steelers run defense. I was watching the types of runs that they were doing. Like, so they're doing real short runs, real quick, decisive runs. The Ravens didn't have a long, drawn out play. All of their plays were quick because that's how you got to play against the Ravens. The Browns have a lot of long, drawn out plays, and that plays a problem in how we affects how we approach those games. Now, I digress. Myles Garrett is back. Did I say that already? Yes, he is. The strip club should be open. We were looking for opportunities and things that we were going to need coming into this game.
Yeah, man, it's man up time, man. It's truly now. If we lose the game, is it the end of the world? No. And if you win the game, is it going to propel us to the Super Bowl?
No.
No. But it's a litmus test because Tennessee already laughing at us still from last year when they came in here and punched us in the mouth.
Listen, I was
all
at that game.
Hype, and they came in and they embarrassed us.
I was at that game, and I'm gonna tell you something.
I was there too.
It was the most energy I'd seen in that stadium in a long time, or maybe ever.
For all of 15 minutes.
And we weren't out of the game. Like the end score, I think it was like 42-17 or something like that.
It was close until that long run. I think Henry got a screen pass
to
the house.
And they threw to Derrick Henry, Mariota. But Mariota was doing something that I kept saying that they needed to do with Baker. He just short. Everything short. Real quick, short. Boom, 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 boom. So it's 2nd and 6. It was never 2nd and 10. It was never 2nd and 13.
No, it wasn't.
It was 2nd and 4. You know, it's 3rd and 1. You know what I mean? Like they put themselves.
Yeah, just made everything manageable. They made the down and distance manageable.
Everything
for the whole game. Meanwhile, we were committing penalties like it was going out of style.
18 penalties that
18.
game.
I think that was a record, NFL record, something like that.
18 penalties that game. So they're well coached. We have to be on our A game. I said this last week. We can't do dumb shit that will take points off the board. We can't make dumb play. On 3rd and 1, if I see these dudes do another wheel route to try to get 3rd, I'm going to slap the shit out of somebody. I know.
And Browns, just be physical. We need you know what?
You don't just have to be physical. I agree with you. You got to be physical. But, man, these dudes need to be physical, and they also need to be mentally ready for whatever being thrown at them.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be ready. Like, you got to go into this game like, yo, this is for the playoffs. This is for, that Kevin Stefanski one game at a time type nonsense. That shit have got to be out the window this week. Because if you lose this game, it ain't the end of the world. Let's be clear. We got a 2-game lead over the Ravens. We have a 2-game lead over the Raiders. But guess what we won't have if we lose this game? A 2-game lead unless they lose again. I don't think either one of them are going to lose again. And not both of them. So you have to – and the Colts, well, we beat the Colts, so I'm not worried about
it. They've got that tiebreaker, right. And Miami's right behind us, too.
But Miami's right behind us. You have to play like you want this game. And if we lose and we play like we wanted this game, I'm fine with that. If we go into this game and get blew out like we've gotten blown out in the Ravens game and like we've gotten blown out against the Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm going to be pissed off.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a good Sunday. It's not going to be a good Sunday edition of this show if we get blown out. And I mean, if we get blown out looking horrible, now we get blown out and we did everything right and just couldn't stop Derrick Henry or something like that. We do know that we don't have a good defense. So maybe I'll be a little bit different.
Right. But if you there, basically in a nutshell, don't be out there looking scared.
That's it. There you go.
Don't be out there looking like the moment is too big for you.
There you go. That's it.
Like I don't want to see Baker out there triple clutching, scared to let the ball go, because he's done that in the past in big games.
Mm-hmm.
Just let it go, man. Just let it rip. Don't be stupid with it.
LIG.
Just play.
LIG. So let's move into the keys for a potential Browns win on Sunday. I'm gonna let you start, Sean.
One, I believe that we need to force turnovers, either force turnovers or have some type of special teams play, be it a kickoff return, punt return, block something. We need something that's going to turn the tide of the game. The other key is I'm gonna be corny here. I'm gonna go old school. You remember when the Chicago White Sox games on WGN with Hawk Harrelson and his
Yeah,
pick to click before the game. Well,
yeah.
my pick to click is we're going to need Hollywood. Hollywood's been kind of quiet last couple of games. We're going to need we need Hollywood to have a big game, because what I'm noticing is without Odell, we don't have a deep threat. We don't really take shots downfield. We take a few, with Hodge, and you got a couple with Higgins, but I think it's time for Hollywood to have that signature breakout game. They're going to be paying attention to Juice underneath, and I think Hollywood, on top of what we know what Chubb is going to do. We need another receiver, somebody else in that receiving core to step up big, along with Juice. So I think the keys to the game, I said we need some type of turnover or big special teams play. And I think we need Hollywood Higgins to have a big game. Because if you can get him to draw some attention from the defense, that'll open up everything else. So that's what I'm looking forward to this Sunday.
Okay. I didn't have Hollywood down, as one of my keys, but I can see the importance of that. I can see why and what that could cause. And Hollywood is one of Baker's favorite guys. So let's hope that they've schemed up some stuff to get Rashard open. And honestly, Rashard was open a couple times last week. They just didn't throw him the ball. To be honest with you, Rashard is almost always open. I don't know what he does that's different from what everybody else does, but Rashard seems to find a way to be open most of the time. So,
and he's on the cusp, man. I really hope the Browns re-sign him. I got a feeling that they won't, but I really hope that the Browns re-sign him and bring him back, because I think he's really on the verge of being maybe not a top-notch number one receiver, but that next level right underneath. Because you can see the talent, but for some reason, he's not able to.
If you have a healthy OBJ and you got a Juice and you got a Rashard, that's a formidable three cats that's coming at you. And
exactly,
Juice don't care where he lines. Juice is a football player. Jarvis don't care where he lines up at. He like, man, you can line me up inside, outside, slot. I don't care. I'm out of number one. I'm out of number three. Just give me the ball. I don't care where I get it at. Like Jarvis is like Chubb. He's a football player. He came to play football today. I don't care how you get me the ball. I don't care when you get me the ball. My only concern is that you get me the ball. Like that's Juice and Nick are the two guys on the team that are like that. They're the only two guys on the team that are like that. Like they don't care. Give me my helmet, give me my pads, give me my jersey, let me go. That's their attitude. That's their attitude. And so to see the potential of Rashard, who, again, he has been effective when he's been out on the field. You're right. I think we need to see somebody else step up. Somebody else got to catch those balls, because after the game that the homie had last week, Juice had last week, they're going to be over the top of him. Somebody else is going to have to step up. So
they're not going to respect our speed. They don't think anybody can take the top off the defense. At all. I'm going to tell you somebody else too that may be a factor, and that's Njoku. He's somebody else that's been quiet.
Let's hope.
And especially with the rookie, I keep forgetting his name. What's the
Harrison Bryant?
Yeah, Harrison Bryant. With his fumbling issues lately,
he can catch. He just can't hold on to the ball.
He may see like a little bit less clock. And Njoku, we may need your services as well.
Agreed.
To step up and make some plays. So
agreed, bro.
This is a game that this is just one of those classic man up games. And I need my Browns to make the city proud. Because this is not the national game. Here's another thing too. The Browns are going under the radar. you see people kind of mention this, the Browns are 8-3, but normally this would be a marquee matchup. This would be like the 4:30 game.
If
And
this
it's
were the
not.
Ravens, and Titans from a couple weeks ago, they would have moved this
Right.
to a spot where everybody, or the Pittsburgh
Right.
Steelers,
Because the 4:30 game isn't really even all that good, to be honest with you. So this is kind of a sign showing like the national media are really saying we really don't respect you, Cleveland, enough to put, because every time,
and I think a lot,
because they're looking at every time we put you guys on national TV, you get blown out.
but I
And
think
we're
a
not
lot of
doing
that is
that.
our defense too. I think the defense not necessarily being an elite defense. We have some solid players, and we actually have some elite players on our defense. We just don't have an elite defense, like overall, the whole shebang.
Right. So check this out, man. Check this out. So the Jim Nance game, the Jim Nance Tony Romo game this week is the Eagles and the Packers. Really? So you're gonna take that game
Eagles and
over
Packers.
the Browns and Titans? Yes, the Eagles and Packers over the Browns and Titans. So that's
the Eagles is like 4-5-1, something like that.
Exactly. So they're telling the Browns that we don't respect you yet. You haven't done it. You haven't proven to us.
And we haven't. Let's be honest, bro.
And that's good.
Real. Let's be real. We haven't. So I'm not going to sit up there and act like we're, because we have a winning season, now or today or whatever. I'm not going to sit up here and act like we deserve to get all the pub.
And you're right. And I agree with you 100%. But I want the Browns, I want the players to feel disrespected. That's what I want. You know what I'm saying? This is a man up type game. Like, where's your pride? You have any type of pride in yourself?
I'm with you.
Can you step it up and take on one of the so-called elites?
I'm with you.
Even if you don't beat them, at least compete with them and let you know that you're here.
But see, that's the thing. So far, whatever level of disrespect that they're giving us, we haven't shown up. We played the two guys that we have on our. Here's the thing that I've consistently said to every Pittsburgh fan: the Browns have beat everybody y'all beat. I mean, we beat them all. Everybody that you guys have beaten, we've beaten. Now we did lose to the Ravens. Y'all beat the Ravens. That's good for y'all. But we beat all the other teams that y'all beat. So how are y'all so much better? Well, here's the thing. They beat everybody who's shown up in front of them. Same thing I say about the Browns. You got to beat whoever shows up in front of you. Correct? Correct.
Right.
So as you continue to evolve into a team that's worthy of the premier game, the 4:00 game, you got to start showing your mettle. You have to, especially since they gave us so much love last year, and all we did was stink up the spot all last year. Every big game,
every single one of them. Even the Jets game we won, we still flopped. We didn't.
Only game that we didn't blow was the Monday Night Football game against the Jets, and we did beat the Steelers last year, by the way.
Right. Well, here's something else too. Here's something else too. The Browns Jets game was supposed to be on a Saturday, kind of like a spotlight game on a Saturday. They moved it, right? But they kept
that was OBJ's return to MetLife Stadium.
Well, he had to return to MetLife Stadium.
No,
that's the Jets last year.
That's what I'm saying. That was his return. You talking about this year against the Jets?
This year. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. We played the Jets and the Giants. Actually, you put the Jets and the Giants back to back. But the Jets game was tentative. And it's like, okay, we're going to put that on the Saturday. That's kind of like a de facto national game for the Browns or whatnot.
That's what talking about last year. I got you, bro.
Yeah. It's like we're gonna go ahead and put that on a Sunday too at 1:00. So we'll see how that goes, man. Go ahead. Did you finish with all your keys?
I didn't go to my keys at all. I was just kind of
okay. We're on the tangent
on what you had said. But so again, my keys are kind of boring always, but they're basic because I think you have to do the basic stuff to get these games to where you want them to go. I had to comment on what you said about somebody else showing up because I did not put that in mind. And that was to me, that was a great key. Somebody else got to show up. Maybe it could be Rashard. That's awesome. But the run game has to do what the run game has done. We cannot have an off day this week. We cannot have an off day this week. We have to bust tail this week. Nick Chubb has to be Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb has to be the Nick Chubb that we expect. He has to be the Nick Chubb that we want as well. But I'll tell you something else. Kareem Hunt needs to be Kareem Hunt. He's averaging 4.5 yards a carry on the season. This team is giving up, the Titans, that is, their defense is giving up about 4.5 yards per carry. We need this run game to be what the run game is going to be and what it has been in order to offset whatever Derrick Henry is going to do. And I'll get to that part in a second. So that's my first thing, is the run game. The second thing, Baker has his second straight decent weather game. Decent weather. I'm not expecting Baker to go out and throw for 300 yards. I'm not expecting Baker to go out and throw for 10 touchdowns or any of that nonsense. But you have the opportunity. You have the space. This team doesn't get after the quarterback that way. This team doesn't, do any schemey type of stuff. You have the opportunity, Baker, to just make the regular throws that we need in order for our team to be in the best positions that we need to be in. The game he played last week, to me, was perfect. That was a perfect game. Everybody else won't say that. I will. It was a good game. That was perfect. I need you to do that. Don't turn the ball over. Throw touchdowns when you need to throw touchdowns. Don't miss guys. I need you to not miss guys, though. Don't miss guys. When you got Hollywood in the end zone, just line that thing up. Because guess what? In this game, if you can get those same types of looks and those same types of avenues, which I think they're going to give you, because they don't want the problem that they're going to have out of this run game, which is why, to me, this is a key. Baker, you got to make those throws, bro. They're going to put the game in your hands. You got to make these throws. So, Baker, you got to make these throws, put the game out of reach so that they can stop running with Derrick Henry. And guess what you got? Ryan Tannehill trying to win a game for you. That's the perfect setup if I've ever heard of a perfect setup. Well, we got to play almost perfect in this game. My third key is the defense. We're so average, and we're average to below average, to be honest. Our numbers are average when you look at them. We're 10th in yards per carry, and I think we're 9th in yards per game, with like 108 yards per game. This dude ain't going to get no 108 yards per game. He getting ready to go berserk. That's kind of my thought process. But I'm going to need them to not give up because this ain't everybody else you've seen all year. This dude, it's like playing against Jordan. You know what I mean? Jordan gonna get his 50, but you can't get discouraged because Jordan got 50. It's Jordan. Get discouraged if Brent Price got 50. Now it's time to be discouraged. Right. But you have to understand who this guy is. You have to understand what this guy is. And if he gets 5, 6, 7 yards per carry, you kind of got to, not saying to yourself, oh, we can't stop him, but you at least got to say to yourself, well, he is that good. We got to figure out a way to stop him on the third.
Mac Wilson, we need you this game.
All y'all guys, listen, I follow all y'all guys on Instagram.
They've been talking a lot of trash and this, that, and the third.
Y'all to get in them pockets. And I need y'all to get your hands on those balls. I need y'all to get into those spots that y'all haven't been in. Andrew Zendejo, if you have one bone in your body that's even remotely decent in terms of playing football, I need you to show that on Sunday, sir. I really do. I need this defense to show up. Y'all have to be the staunchest that y'all have ever been, because this is huge. Because you win this game, I tell you what, y'all don't want to see that when we play the Ravens in 2 weeks.
Next week. You play them the week after this
so
one.
we got
Yeah.
this game, and then we got listen. The Ravens are watching, and they done lost 3 in a row. They are watching. If y'all show bullshit in this game, the Ravens gonna come in thinking they can run roughshod on you. I know you don't want to think past this game, but bro, you gotta think about it. It's like somebody stealing your lunch. Somebody come in and take your Doritos, and everybody in the lunchroom saw this dude take your Doritos, and you ain't do nothing.
Like the gooch.
The gooch coming to take your Doritos, and so and so is Dudley, and so
Wait a minute.
you know, all them.
Wait a minute. Hey, dude, the gooch was so cold. He had Arnold custom ordering his sandwiches. No, it wasn't the gooch. It was those two bullies.
Listen.
Remember, he said he wanted the corned beef on rye. He had to go.
First of all,
he was ordering his own lunch sandwiches.
But look, I'm gonna tell you how cold the gooch actually was, though. The gooch never was on screen.
Never.
But we know who the gooch is. That's how dope the gooch was. The gooch was the damn bully extraordinaire, dog. Every bully wants to be the gooch, man. Where they make a storyline about a dude that don't even exist. That's incredible. That's incredible. Like, damn, the gooch coming? Oh man, here. Like the gooch was the first Debo.
He was.
The gooch was the first Debo. Like, oh man, here come the gooch. Here, put all your stuff in this box. Dudley, man, don't pay to get on the bus because the gooch is right behind you, dog. You pull your money out, he gonna take it all. You know what I mean?
Man.
But okay, so bro, give me your prediction for the game in terms of the score. The line is 5.5 in favor of the Titans. It's in
I'm gonna go.
Say that again.
I'm gonna go. I hate picking against my boys, but I'm gonna go Tennessee 27, Browns 21. I think it'll be close, but I think they'll pull away at the end of the game.
Well, I'm gonna stick to my guns. I believe that my Browns will prevail 31-28, because I think both of these defenses are not great. They're mediocre. So there's opportunities for both offenses to have to break through and to have good plays and potentially big plays. So I'm expecting both running backs to play well. I'm expecting both offensive lines to play well. It's just going to be a momentum game, and I think you're right. I think it's going to be a kind of a back and forth. We're going to be on the edge. I hope that we're going to be on the edge of our seats. I hope it's not going to be a blowout. But that's what I see, 31-28 Browns.
All right. So what is next on the docket?
Let's stay on football real quick, because I got questions. So some years ago, we drafted a kid who had a lot of ability and a lot of talent. Nobody really understood why we drafted. Well, I think people understood why we drafted.
I think I know where you're going with this.
But people didn't know why
on the same page.
We drafted him. All this dude did, he's a 6'3" kid, 230 pounds, one of the freakiest. I've met him personally. I've talked to him personally. I've had discussions with this guy personally. He's one of the most freakish specimens that I've ever actually athletically ever encountered in my life. Like I've met LeBron before, and I ain't saying that LeBron ain't a freakish specimen. But in terms of football, I was just like, wow, look at this dude. Talking about Josh Gordon for you guys that are a little bit confused. Josh, when he was in Cleveland, was drafted by the Cleveland Browns, and I didn't understand why we drafted the kid. He was in trouble in college. He was down in Baylor, correct? And
Yep.
he had, Baylor is known for, let's be honest, most Texas colleges, SMU and Baylor, are known for. SMU is the only college that ever got the death sentence. But
Right.
Baylor ain't that far away from SMU. So they all have that same, they have alumni or alumnus that have a lot of money. So it's a lot of problems at those colleges. And to be completely honest, Josh was involved in a lot of stuff, from substance abuse to potential other issues that he had in college. So I was wondering why we drafted this kid. But when I met him, said to myself, I said, so this dude is different. He is huge. His hands are huge. And I had an opportunity to stand there and talk to him. And I said, hey, bro, can I talk? He was with his brother. And I asked his brother, can I talk to him? The brother said, yeah, go ahead. I have a conversation with this guy. And I said, yo, what do you think you can do for the Browns, man? He looked me squarely in the face and he said to me, they just need to get me the ball. I thought that was the most ridiculous thing I had ever heard. I did. I'm like, just get you the ball? He was like, yeah, just give me the ball. Like, if they give me the ball, he said, I know what their offense say, and I know I got the playbook. I go over all that stuff all the time. But if they give me the ball, we're going to be all right. I just didn't buy it. I didn't buy it. I didn't bite. I didn't buy it. I was like, okay, all right, man. It's good to meet you, boom, boom, boom. But when I gave him a pound, I was like, man, this dude he's got some size about himself. Listen, all he did was commence to having those, what was that, 3 200-yard games in a row?
Yeah, something like that.
Like, Jerry Rice didn't have that. The greatest in the world, he didn't have that. Chris Carter didn't have that. One of the greatest wide receivers I've ever seen in terms of catching. And Stephen Largent didn't have that. This dude had that. 16, 17 touchdowns, almost 1,800 yards for no reason, with one of the worst quarterbacking crew on earth. So I understand what the talent actually is. Here's what I don't understand. How in the hell is this dude still in the league?
Man, he's been reinstated for the 6th time?
Are you
7th?
kidding me?
It's ridiculous. I've never seen anything like it before.
Listen, America, Ohio, Cleveland, I am not hating. I'm not hating at all. Not even in the smallest sense of hating. I'm not hating. I am confused, though, because in most cases and in most senses, you don't get this.
Most guys get 2 strikes.
That's it, bro.
They get suspended once like that. Then the second time they do it, they're pretty much out the league. Maybe they'll get a 3rd time. You know what? So some guys have gotten 3 chances, but not 6 like Josh. This is crazy.
Listen, he got about 4 chances while he was with us.
He got drafted in 2012 with the Browns, and he's been getting literally suspended. He's been suspended every year since.
Every year,
from 2012 to 2020. This dude has had some type of suspension, and somehow he's back with the Seahawks for the last 2 games of the season. Well, no,
bro,
last 2 games of the season. Yeah,
please explain it to me. Can you explain it to me? Like, can somebody help me? And if there's somebody out there who thinks they know, we have a comment section in our YouTube. Go to the YouTube page and I know the CBA has changed and stuff like that. But we're talking about a guy. Let me be fully clear. We're talking about a guy that came to us supplementally, and he was only getting like $950,000, I think, a year when he first got drafted. And they gave him most of that right away. Okay. After he had that ridiculous season, I said to myself, I said, if this dude has a regular, he don't have to have that kind of season again. If he has a regular season, they come and looking for an extension, because I would too. He didn't even make it out of the season before he was suspended. Bro.
And the crazier thing is, no one in the national media is questioning his reinstatements. They just act like it's normal. It's like, okay, he's back.
God damn it, it's happened 16 times. They're like, oh, they're like, oh, okay. Oh, he's getting reinstated. All right, perfect. It's one of the more ridiculous things I've ever seen. It's all, I won't say it's a mockery. I won't do that. I won't go that far. I'm just confused. I don't know what, I don't understand.
It must be, you know what? I think a couple of times, I think what, now that I think about it, that may have saved him was that he voluntarily took himself out a couple of times. And maybe him voluntarily taking himself
out. How many times does that work though, bro?
It has to be something in that CBA and the rules or something.
And I don't disagree with what you're saying, because I thoroughly agree with that. I think because probably the last 2 or 3 times that he's gone out on his own.
Yeah, he knows that drug policy like Satan know the Bible.
Yeah.
He know that thing frontwards and backwards. He has to.
Yeah, see, okay, thank you for clearing that up, because that's I'm like sitting here like this, like, are you kidding? This dude is coming back. I won't forget when they picked him up, when Seattle said, yo, we just gonna keep him on the roster. And I was saying to myself, like, why? Man, Roger Goodell ain't gonna bring this dude back. Ain't no way. And guess what? Roger Goodell brought this dude back again.
I think Roger has a soft spot for him for some reason.
What is it though, bro? You got,
because when you talk, you know what? Because when you hear Josh talk in the interview, like AB, like Antonio Brown sounds crazy when you talk to him.
He does.
Josh Gordon doesn't. Josh Gordon sounds like the nicest, most intelligent.
Listen, I'm telling you,
in the world.
I will agree with that. I will agree with that wholeheartedly, because I've talked to him. I've actually had conversations, not a conversation. I've had conversations with Josh Gordon. I have, and I'm not joking. I've literally talked to Josh Gordon more than one time in my life. And every time I talk to the guy, he's the most matter-of-fact, plain dude you ever want to see. He's regular. Like, it's like if you said to me, hey man, is that the McDonald's trophy on your chest? Oh no, that's the new national championship trophy. When they had the playoff, that's what that is. That's it. Like, that's how he talks. Like, it ain't, I'm not saying nothing out of pocket. He says regular stuff. The only thing he said out of pocket to me, having never played a game, because when he got supplementally drafted by the Browns, he was on suspension. He didn't play right away. And here he is in this spot. I ain't going to blow his spot up, but here he is in this spot. And I'm right there, like literally next to him. And he's telling me all them dudes need to do is give me the rock. That's it. That's all. I thought it was the most ridiculous thing and the most arrogant thing that I had ever heard, until I saw this dude actually play. And he was doing everything that he said he was going to do. And when I saw him after that, I said, bro, you told me you was going to kill it. And you know what he said? He gave me that. And he looked me in the face and he said, yeah, because I already knew what I was going to do. Like, he's just a matter. That's Josh. It could come off as arrogant, but I think Josh thinks highly of himself. The
Yeah, I
problem
mean,
is,
because he has in any other type situation, all things being equal, he has Hall of Fame talent. Like seriously, like for those, for our 1.5 listeners
yeah,
outside of Cleveland,
yeah,
when we've seen him play multiple games, and the stuff that we've seen him do is things that we haven't seen any other Browns receiver in
no
history
one. And then
accomplish.
he was doing things that we ain't seen no other wide receiver do, like period.
Right.
And
The sad part about it is we would get doses of 3 or 4 games sporadically
yep,
here and there. I remember the last year Hugh Jackson was here when he
yep,
played that first game against. We hadn't played, man. He was out of shape. Barely got reinstated. That dude, he made one of the most spectacular catches in that game I've ever
yep.
seen.
I remember it
And like it wasn't nothing.
because it wasn't. Then
It's
he
just
got cut.
uncanny.
Then he got cut. Went to New
New
England
England.
and did the exact same stuff. Like went
Yeah.
there, and when he got the ball, when the ball was, he won 2 or 3 games for them in a row with his catches. Listen, it's not about this guy not having talent. And apparently, I think that Seattle and that coaching staff understands talent. They drafted DK Metcalf. They also drafted Russell Wilson. So they understand what talent can do and what talent actually is. Okay. Holding on to Josh Gordon, they understand the talent that this dude got. They didn't do that accidentally. This dude is really that good. My
And
question
remember,
is,
if
how
you
the hell
remember,
is he still in the NFL?
and remember, he played in Seattle too for a brief stint.
Yeah,
So he's familiar with the
he was DK
organization.
Metcalf before DK Metcalf was DK Metcalf. He was supposed to be the guy, excuse me, that took the top off of that offense a little bit. It gave Russell Wilson that security blanket that guys couldn't load up the box because you got Josh Gordon out here, you know,
Right.
on the edge. You couldn't do it, or they felt like you weren't going to be able to do it. So this
Right.
guy took a break, got suspended again, and now he's back a freaking game. I just don't understand how the hell he's back again. Listen, Morris the cat don't have more lives than this something. I don't. I am shocked. I am somewhat appalled. I never knocked the hustle. So listen, Josh, get your money. I hope everything works out
Yeah,
because
all in all, man, I want him to be, healthy. I
I
want him
want you
to
to take
be,
care of your daughter, and I don't know if you
yeah.
have any other kids. I want you to do well. So I'm not hating. That's what I mean. Like I'm not hating. I'm just in the world in a ball. What did Genesis say? It's a world of confusion. I am confused.
Right.
I don't understand how you're still in the league or even could potentially think that I'm coming back after this hiatus, so to
Right.
speak. This dude could be back in week 16 and 17 and impact those games. Are you kidding?
Yep.
Come on, man. I'm blown away by it.
Well,
I'm literally blown away by it. But it's okay. It's okay. I'm fine with it. Josh, do your thing, man. Don't
yeah,
have
good luck to
COVID.
Josh Gordon, man. Like I said, first and foremost, I want him to be healthy. I want him to
Yeah,
be
don't
just
have
a
COVID, bro.
productive
Take care of
citizen.
yourself. Be a productive citizen, as Sean just said, and go to all your meetings. And I think by I'm looking at my notes real quick. He can do all the strength and conditioning stuff that he wants, but he can't go to practice until like the 21st of December. So
Okay.
he's like 2 weeks out from that. What's today? The third.
The
Today's the
third.
third. So he's about 18 days away from that. So that's about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. Um, I just, I wish you the best, homie. I don't want to see nothing, negative happen. I never did, whether you were playing for us or not. However, bro, take care of yourself. And I'm still confused as to how the hell you're still in the league. Just being real, I'm just being honest, man. When I saw that today, I was like, what? Wait a minute, what? Roger Goodell, oh my gosh, what is wrong with Roger Goodell? But okay, let's move on. We're done with the NFL, I think. We have to touch on Ohio State real quick. They got a game on Saturday. Thankfully, that's why I got my
So
old
far,
on today.
tentatively, we have a game. With COVID, who
It is
knows?
tentative. It is very tentative.
Now the one thing though, here's the thing though. Michigan State already had their outbreak before the season started. They had a huge outbreak.
Yes, they did.
And Ohio State had their outbreak. So maybe it's run its course through the team. And we can go ahead and get this game in. Now, Ohio State's favored by 24. Now, Michigan State, in the history of Ohio State, has always been a thorn in our side. They've knocked us off several times when we were on our way to a national championship. And here comes Michigan State, and we got derailed. I can think of 3 times. Three really, really big games. The one when I want to say 98, they knocked us off. We were ranked number 1.
They knocked us off a couple times in the 90s, actually.
Yeah, I remember you had the Ezekiel Elliott game where he only got like maybe 10 carries. There was another one thrown in there too. It was an overtime game. I think they got us at the shoe. So we definitely want to take them lightly. And their coach is a Cleveland Heights native, Mel Tucker.
Yes, he is.
Went to high school. I was a nobody in high school, so he doesn't know who I am. But I remember watching him playing football. He played quarterback in high school, so I remember watching him. So I do want to see him succeed, just not this week.
Mel was also on the Browns. He was a defensive coordinator for the Browns.
Yep, sure was.
So, shout out to Mel, being from the area, being a Clevelander, living in this area and supporting this area and showing up. So shout out to Mel, except for this week.
Now here's the thing that worries me, right? They're saying that Ohio State has to play 2 more games to qualify for the Big Ten championship. Here's what I'm worried about. Last game of the season is against Michigan. Michigan could screw us by just saying we're not playing the game. I would not put it past them to do that.
Bro, now here's where being an independent show, we don't need the influx of outside folks to tell us what we need to say or how we need to say it. Kirk Herbstreit said the same thing.
Did he?
Yeah. He basically said Michigan is avoiding playing that game against Ohio State. And he ended up having to go back in and make an apology and all that stuff. This is one of the awesome things about doing your own show. I don't have that problem. I'm cool.
We never holding anybody.
Because I know how them hoe-ass dudes from the team up north might be. They want to screw us in any way that they can because they can't beat us. And they already know if they play this game against us with Justin Field, this year the game would be here this year, right?
Well, I can check really quickly. I think so.
Yeah, I think the game is here this year.
Yeah, it is here.
I take much pride in beating them in the big house. I take so much pride in beating them in the big house. But those gold pants mean so much to everybody that's on that team, every Ohio State player and all that stuff. So, and for those of you who don't know, the gold pants, they get this little pendant that you can put on a chain when you play Michigan and beat Michigan. So I don't think any team in the last 200 years has not gotten one of those pendants because we now hell out of them, every year.
Now I think if it's up to Harbaugh, he would play the game. if
I don't
it's
believe
up
that.
to
I don't
the,
believe that for 2 seconds.
I
I
think
don't
if it's
believe
up to
that.
him, he will play. I think he
Harbaugh,
play.
at this point, Harbaugh needs whatever the hell he needs
Because he's a football player.
to
And that
salvage.
might be his last, and here's the thing, that might be his last stand as a Michigan coach, is to somehow pull off an upset against Ohio State. Now, the president and the board of regents, whoever it is up there in Ann Arbor, they'll be the ones to say that we're not playing this game. So we're going to see how that shakes out, man, but I would not put it past them. That would be the ultimate screw job.
That's weird.
Now, the question is, though, here's the question is if Ohio State does not play in the Big Ten championship, where the college football playoff still put us in it. So, I mean, so if we can still go to the playoffs without playing in a Big Ten championship game, then screw it. I don't care what they do at that point.
You know what? Because I honestly thought that when we didn't play this week, that might affect how we showed in the playoff rankings. I did. I actually, anybody who follows us on Facebook and Instagram, I literally said that. I said, man, I ain't sure how this is going to affect the rankings or whatever, but we still ended up being fourth this week. But I think they just gave us fourth.
They did.
Because we're Ohio State. I really don't think that what we've shown, just being honest, I don't think that what we've shown has given us the fourth place without playing. I mean, it doesn't mean that beating, a team that we're way better than would have proven that we were way better than them, and that gives us the fourth spot. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is,
I agree with you.
It's always the eye test. They always do the eye test, correct, Sean? It's always about the eye test. So my thoughts were, us not playing, we don't give the eye test to anybody who could refute what we're going to do.
Right. Well, here's what's working in Ohio State's favor, though. So below us is Texas A&M. Talk about eye tests, and you got Florida.
No, I agree with that, bro. I agree with that. Yep.
Florida is like, you definitely got to take in Cincinnati. And then underneath them is Georgia. So I think, so I think if Ohio State, now the only way Ohio State gets bumped out of there if we have a poor showing against Michigan State. If we somehow just eke out a win against Michigan State, but if we go in there and we blow them out by 35.
You said hold up, you said the line is what, 24 and a half?
Yeah, 24. I think just 24.
Okay.
So if we go out there and impressively just beat them down by a large margin, I think we'll be fine, whether we play Michigan or not. Now, if we eke and squeeze by and have a poor showing, even if we win, that's when, not playing a couple of games can hurt us at that point. Because really underneath Ohio State, besides Texas A&M, it's really nobody. I guess people are saying BYU can make an argument, but
BYU ain't beating nobody. Not really. That'd be a huge upset.
But now if Ohio State doesn't play in the Big Ten championship, they can use that as an excuse.
Right.
Throw us in there and put somebody.
No, you're right. No, you're right.
And you look at the number of games they played. Like BYU's played 9 games.
That's the only problem. That's where I was. But when I said what I said, we haven't played enough games. We're 4-0, 4-0, and it's December 3rd.
Right.
That's paltry, bro. To steal one of your words, that's paltry.
Right.
Like, we haven't played enough games. I know that we've looked pretty solid in the majority. I'll say we look good in 75% of our games. We had a game that I was like, man, what the hell are we doing? What is the defense doing? Like, our defensive backfield was getting cooked in our last game.
Right, against Indiana.
We got cooked. Pettis, shout out to Mike Pettis. I'm sorry, Penix.
Penix, yeah, he tore his ACL, right?
So shout out to Mike Penix. That kid, I don't wish ill on no kids. They're kids at the end of the day. I'm 46. These dudes are 18, 19, 20 years old. They're kids. I got a kid their age. So shout out to him. I hope his recovery goes well. Really good quarterback. I think I likened him to Russell Wilson. Very smart kid, very athletic kid. I hope everything goes well. Kind of screws Indiana up in terms of their bowl hopes because you don't have. He was a solid piece of why they were what they were and where they were. But I just hope that Ohio State can figure it out. If we can get these next two games in, and then go to the Big Ten championship and play against whoever is on the other side of
Right.
that, whoever however that works out as these games continue to play out. Hopefully, we can get there and win that game, and it won't be an issue. But I
Right.
think at the end of the day, fans or no fans, I think that the NCAA still wants, because that's viewership. They still want Ohio State there. It's viewership. The NCAA is all about money. They don't give a shit who wins. They want the money.
Even
So
if they can create controversy, like you
yeah,
can say, well, Ohio State doesn't deserve to
right.
go. And you already know the national media already hates Ohio State
Can't
as it
stand it.
is.
Can't stand it. That's okay. But it is what it is.
And I see why BYU, why people like them, man. They've literally beaten the hell out of everybody they've played. I mean, they beat Navy 55-3, Troy 48-7, Louisiana Tech 45-14,
The problem is who they play.
43-26, Boise 51-17.
But that's gonna be the problem is who they play. Nobody's
Yeah,
gonna say now. I'm not hating on them at all.
I know what you're saying.
I'm just like in terms of how these guys think. In their minds, they're like, yeah, but you're not gonna beat Alabama 52
Right.
to 17.
Well, they have a ranked game Saturday. They got a ranked game Saturday. They played the vaunted number 18 Coastal Carolina. I didn't even know Coastal Carolina was even a Division I school, let alone that's how wacky 2020 is when freaking Coastal Carolina is ranked 18. How is that even possible? What's their mascot?
How are the Bearcats number 5? That's crazy.
Well, that I can understand that a little bit more than Coastal Carolina.
Here's why I can't. Only because to me, now basketball wise, yes. And this is just a wacky year. In a regular year, would they be ranked number 5? That's my question.
Probably they right.
In a regular year, would they be ranked number 5?
No, probably not. Now, Coastal Carolina is called the Chanticleers.
Yep.
Which, based on this logo here, is a damn rooster.
They are
so you got a football team.
Look, basically, they're the
Gamecocks. So I guess the Carolinas got something going on with this weird obsession with roosters.
What is it with? What is it with roosters in the Carolinas?
Coastal Carolina Chanticleers are ranked number 18 in the nation in 2020.
That's funny.
All right, man. So what's next on our docket?
So let's skip past the NFL. We've been NFL heavy for the last hour and a half or so. I think I've given you guys a simple idea of who we are as individuals. One of the characteristics, that we have here between the two of us, one of us is a uniform snob. If you listen to the show, you know which one of us that is.
Proud of it.
So, Big Sean, my homie, one of my best friends, like for life, my brother. I love this dude, man. This dude is the most ridiculous.
It's not ridiculous.
It is ridiculous, bro. He doesn't give any uniform any opportunity, like I have to, you see my backdrop, I have to pick my backdrops right. Because if I pick my backdrops wrong, Sean is gonna give me grief about my backdrops.
Yeah,
I'm
you got a
telling
team
you.
with an ugly uniform on. Yeah, I'm
See,
gonna say
you
something.
see what I'm saying? Say it again, Sean. I'm sorry. Maybe I didn't hear you.
Yeah, if you have anything with an ugly uniform in the background, I'm going to critique it and I'm going to dog it. Absolutely right. Because to me,
So,
that messes up the whole aesthetic on TV when you're watching the game. When you have a team just with the most ridiculous stuff on, it just messes up the whole thing. Because teams nowadays, they go too far. They go too far with everything. Like, I'll give you an example. Even like with the court decorations now in basketball. How like Oregon stuff was so messed up. It was giving people epileptic seizures because they had them like that force.
that forest, it
Whatever.
was a forest on
It looked,
the court. Homie.
on the court, it looked awful. You
I
got
like
kids
it.
having seizures from
I
watching the
thought it was
doggone
dope.
basketball game.
Nobody was gonna have no seizure, but I thought it was dope.
It was awful. It didn't look
See,
right. It doesn't pop on television.
see, see.
Just like the Cavs when they had that stupid thing that one year where they had like the skyline like all painted up in the back.
I
And
like
the
that.
shadow on the court. It was awful. It was
I
tacky.
like the skyline on the damn court. We won the
You don't need all of that.
championship.
All you need is a logo in the middle of the court
We
and
won the championship
Cavaliers on the
with that.
side of the thing.
That was dope.
That's it.
It had the Cleveland skyline. Come on, man. Crazy.
It's
Triple.
terrible.
So,
Teams are going too far. And that leads us into go
so
ahead.
now, so that does lead us right into the City Edition Cleveland Cavaliers jersey. So, as much of a grump as my co-host is, I'm actually gonna have to jump on his team on this one. I don't know if you guys have seen the Cavs new jerseys. If you haven't, please go check out our Facebook page or our Instagram page. Two guys in a mic 216 because
And
I
you
have
can personally view the abominations yourself.
You can go.
Matter of fact, I'm not even watching them. When they put those jerseys out, for real, I'm not even watching those games.
Listen to me. When you talk about, and this is a guy who's not a uniform snob, I give him a shot. These could be the worst uniforms I've ever seen in my life. They are horrendous. They are horrendous. And then I find out, I didn't know this ahead of time. And Sean's gonna love this. I don't know if Sean knows this. But when the Cavs wear these jerseys, the court will reflect what they have on.
How?
So the court will look like it. They got a whole court set up for when they wear these jerseys, that the C in the middle of the court, a half court, will be the C on this jersey. And they got all kind of other stuff going on the outside of this.
All right.
It's awful.
Here's my issue, and this is my issue.
It's awful.
I have an issue with first of all, ever since they've come out with this dumb idea of these City Edition jerseys for every team, the Cavaliers City Edition jersey has looked ugly every single year. So the first one we had was they just had the land on the front of the jersey, and they were all gray.
It was
supposedly
great.
representing the Guardians when you go across the.
But I was okay with that.
Those jerseys were ugly because nobody
I was
understood.
okay with that. I was okay. Okay. I didn't say they were great. I was okay.
Ugly. Then
Now,
last year,
would you rather have this or what or the
I don't
land?
want any of them. Just wear the regular stuff that we have. That's fine.
But you got to do a City Edition.
No, you don't.
So
now, last year we had them ugly blue and white. I don't know what those things were. It was supposed to represent wintertime in Cleveland. Something like that.
They were awful.
Awful.
They were awful.
Now, here's the thing. Other teams have awful City Edition jerseys, but at least they match the motif of the city. Now, as ridiculous as those Miami Vice jerseys are that the Heat wear, at least that goes with the city.
That goes with what the city does, man.
1 year, and Minnesota needs to keep these. They need to bring these back. When they had the Purple Rain,
Yep.
City Edition, those were raw.
Yeah,
Now
those.
the ones they had last year were awful. I don't know what they were thinking with those, but that's neither here nor there.
Who do they hire and how much do they pay? Because I'm in. If what you want,
Exactly.
if what you want is a ransom note across a jersey, I got you. I'll cut out out of every newspaper, give you a higher, a
Man,
uppercase letter, a lowercase letter, and make it look like I'm the most ridiculous. I am the Unabomber, serial killer
those
ass.
jerseys look like a scene out of what was that
7
movie?
out of
Yeah,
7.
exactly. That's what I'm about to say. Now, here's the thing. Now, because Cleveland is the rock and roll city, we have the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. What they did was they took the lettering from different logos of bands that are in the Hall of Fame and took one letter out of their logo and pieced it together, which is the most ridiculous thing that I've ever heard. Because unless you tell somebody that, nobody knows it. I don't want to have to look at a jersey and then decode it to
As
figure out what they're trying to do.
get your little orphan Annie decoder
Yeah,
thing
right. So
together to figure
evidently
out what
it
the story is.
combines like the Sex Pistols, David Bowie, NWA, uh, ACDC, something all like that, man. But they're horrible. And
Whack.
and
Whack.
Larry Nance modeled them, and Larry Nance was looking at them. They're just bad.
It's
And I
awful.
just want to know who they used to do focus groups back in the day when you would, try to. I guess they don't do that anymore. I guess they don't
No,
care. But you know what though? Fans are going to buy it. They're going to make money off of it.
listen,
It's something different.
as my dude said, shout out to my homie Dave Ramsey. He said them things look like something that the bootleg guys outside the stadium
Yeah.
sell you. And that's exactly what the hell it looks like.
like Brub Man outside the Whitty Hutton
Yeah, with the Woody Hut.
concert.
He got the
The
Woody.
Whitty Hutton concert.
He got the Woody Huttons.
Right. Running with the slow bob.
Them,
You know.
he got the slow bob. Listen, those jerseys could be and I'm usually the optimist out of the two of us. I'm here to tell you, when I saw those jerseys, I said, no, those can't be real. I
And the
saw them like
colors,
2,
and the
3 days
colors
ago.
have nothing to do with anything.
It doesn't have I understand the whole, I want to try to keep it rock and roll with Cleveland. Okay, we are the rock and roll city. I get it. I get it. But when we're talking about trying to make a statement as a team, is this the statement that you want to make? I'm saying no.
All they had to do, man, was go back and get that old Cleveland Rockers kind of like logo with the guitar and put it Cleveland across the chest with the guitar.
Or
And that's it.
an electric Cleveland like in a guitar type thing.
Something like that. And kept it simple.
You could have, and I hated these, but you could have easily just went back to the old school when the Cavs moved down to the gun. And yeah, I said the gun. That wasn't a mistake. When the Cavs moved down to the gun, and they had those party favor ass uniforms, you could have did that. I would have been okay.
They brought those back. Remember, they brought those back last year as a throwback.
I know, and they suck. However,
people actually liked them too. People was like, "Oh, I love those uniforms." I was like, "Those were the worst uniforms." Like as far as the base uniforms, those were the worst ones in the history of the Cavaliers.
They were awful. Those uniforms themselves, like as your regular
with that stupid exploding basket. That reminds me.
Freaking, you don't have nobody who scored like that. Mark Price was here, but he wasn't doing that no more.
Barely. I mean, he wore them jerseys for 1 year.
Yeah.
He was like, that reminds me of Bob Sura and Chris Mills and Chris Gatling. Yeah. Just a bunch of just mediocre 40-win teams that weren't going anywhere. That's what that era reminds me of.
That was the era that we got Terrell Brandon. That was the era that we drafted him. And
Terrell Brandon actually came behind Mark Price a little bit. So he played kind of like in the old era. And I like, Terrell Brandon. Terrell Brandon was solid.
Terrell a lot. I actually thought when we made that trade for Kemp, this goes to show you how different things were back then. I was still in Alaska at that time. So when I heard that we had traded for Sean Kemp, I was super excited. I was like dancing on a freaking ceiling because I knew I was getting ready to go home that next April. So in my mind, I'm like, man, I get to see Terrell Brandon and Sean Kemp play together. That's dope, right? When I go home, I went on a what they call a TDY, which is where you have to go temporary duty to some other station. And I found out the next day or the day after that we traded Terrell to get Sean Kemp. I said, so we don't have a point guard? Oh, that's retarded. So you trade the guy that can get Sean Kemp the ball because Sean Kemp needs someone to get him the ball. He's not a LeBron James type of power forward dude, a 6'9" guy that can dribble.
Yeah, he's an old school power forward.
Yeah, he ain't that guy. So why the hell would you trade your 28 and 10, 28 and 11 guy, who Terrell Brandon was at that time? He was an all-star and all that. Why the hell would you trade him to get this guy when you don't got a guy to get him the ball?
Now, I'll give Sean Kemp credit. Although he, at that point, he pretty much has ate his way out the league. He still got that bum team to the playoffs. I don't know how he did it.
And he got them close.
I don't know how he did it.
Times. He got them close 2 other times. Like they weren't. That was a combination of Sean Kemp and Mike Fratello.
Mike Fratello
understood he was going to play slow ball. He was going to play small ball. He was going to do everything possible to give his team a chance to win. Mike Fratello is
one of the most underrated coaches in the NBA. Look, I don't think he ever won a championship, but that guy could flat out coach.
He's an underrated coach, man. I like Coach Fratello. I've seen him a number of times in my life. I've met him. Every time I meet him, he cool. He ain't tripping.
He still lives here, if I'm not mistaken. I think he still has a house here. I see him out and about every now and then.
I've seen him often. And he lives on this side of town. I'm on the far east side of town, close to Euclid, but he lives out this way. I've seen him at the Verizon store a number of times. But so we had to go into them damn uniforms. Because I knew Sean, I don't know that Sean saw him. And I saw him like 2 or 3 days ago, and I said to myself, I'm gonna wait this out. Because that's not the
I saw him 2 or 3 days ago too as a leak. But I was thoroughly disgusted. I ain't want to talk about him.
I said to myself, nah, I'm not putting that on the page yet. I'm not doing it. I'm gonna wait. I need to make sure that this is what the Cavs is gonna do. Right. Because it did look like the guy on the bootleg guy on the corner who's just trying to sell you a Cleveland jersey. So I waited, and guess what? This is it. A professional freaking basketball team is gonna wear these. Represent my city. Come on, bro.
Oh man.
You're killing me, dog.
One thing too, we got to touch on too before we get too far, because I know we probably got to wrap it up shortly. The John Wall trade,
huge.
Russell Westbrook trade,
huge.
To me, it absolutely makes no sense for either party involved. But the simple fact, they're the same player.
They're roughly the same player.
Now, they're both. Go ahead.
Well, here's the difference, and here's my issue, because what I asked online was, who won? Who got the better of that deal, of that trade, right? The only reason that I say Washington won is because you basically replace what you lost.
That's a good point.
And you basically replace what you lost. You got a guy who's capable of scoring and handling the ball and facilitating for guys, et cetera, et cetera. I think he's more durable than what J-Dub has been, John Wall.
Agreed.
So you get a little bit of a better guy. I don't know how well that goes for Bradley Beal, though. I just don't. I don't know how that works for him. However, I think they got a better piece, because going to Houston, I believe that John Wall is going to be unhappy because they're talking about keeping Harden. So he's the guy who handles the ball the most. So you got to learn how to play off the ball and still work your offense the same way that you generally work your offense. Now
they have the wrong coach probably for that. You need a veteran coach.
You need a veteran coach
to manage those egos.
You need a veteran coach for that kind of stuff, because he's going to be getting kind of roughly, quote unquote, pushed around. Stephen Silas, that is, going to be getting pushed around by, the Beard and his people, James Harden. But John Wall ain't no bum. John Wall ain't a bum. John Wall's problem is he ain't durable. He'll get you 50 games. The question is, which 50? Is he going to get you the first 50? Is he going to get you the last 50? Is he going to get you the middle 50? He just isn't a guy that you can, and I love John Wall. Let me explain that too. John Wall is one of my favorite players in the league. The problem with John Wall is that he's just not durable. So you put him down here where he's not going to have the ball as often, which is what Bradley Beal's issue was. He felt like he needed a guy who didn't have the ball so much, but he just inherited that because that's what Harden wants. He was sick of not being on the ball. He was tired of being off ball because it played into how he shot. So when people tell me that these more athletic players are better, no, they're not necessarily. Not when they can't just do regular stuff because they only want to play the way that they want to play.
Right.
And that's where the problem is. However, I think that the Wizards got the better of this deal.
Yeah, I think when you put it that way, I think you're right. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Will Harden try to force his way out, try to get to Brooklyn, like the rumors have been saying?
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah.
And I guess one of these days, man, I guess we should do it probably right before tip-off. We need to do an NBA preview and kind of review all the moves and stuff. There's been so much stuff that's going on.
So what is this, the third? So training camp, from what I understand, training camp should have just started within the last couple of days.
Yeah. So the Cavs' first exhibition game is the 12th against Indiana. So they said individual workouts were ending today. Team workouts, I believe, start tomorrow. And then too, you're going to have a lot of COVID issues too, them not being in a bubble. That's going to be you're going to have
to do, bro.
You're going to have games where superstars are probably missing, a chunk of games this year because of that. So we need to go ahead and pencil that in, man, and do an NBA preview.
We'll definitely do
show.
An NBA preview show before Christmas because I think
we got to do it before Christmas.
The first games are right before Christmas.
The 22nd.
We'll do our preview show for you guys listening. The NBA preview, we'll work on it, but it's going to definitely be within that same week of the 22nd.
And also, before we end our talk about the NBA, shout out to the Cavs for continuously signing a bunch of people I've never heard of in my life. So shout out to y'all. Adding all these unknown guards that I have no idea who they are.
When I tell you guys, I can't stand and I love my partner all at the same time because I had no idea he was getting ready to say that. I did not. This is not scripted, and this is one of the problems with having an independent show because we can't say
it's not scripted at all.
This dude just said that out of nowhere.
Thank you, Cavaliers.
I don't understand.
I don't know what they're doing.
I don't understand the need to get 4 or 5, 6'3" guys, 6'2"-ish guys.
The only thing I can think of, they're probably this Okoro kid is probably gonna play hybrid. I can see him probably being a 2-guard.
Well, he's 6. What is he? 6'4", 6'5"-ish?
He's 6'6", 6'5", 6'6".
Okay.
Kevin Porter Jr. is 6'4"-ish. Probably more 6'3", but they got him listed as small forward / guard.
Everybody else is 6'3".
But you know what though? But kind of like in the league now, you have this positionless basketball thing going on. But
you got to get evidently
right. So, I'm trying to think what the projected starting lineup: Drummond.
I'm not even about to.
Colin Sexton.
No, Love. Kevin Love is gonna start over Nance.
Yeah. All right, so Drummond, Love, small forward would probably be Kevin Porter Jr.
KPJ. Yeah.
And then you got
Garland and Garland.
Now the thing is, with that lineup, we can score. Ain't gonna be able to stop nobody.
Ain't no only defense is Drummond, potentially.
Yeah.
If he
That's
decides,
going to be interesting, man, because I will say this. Before COVID, the Cavs were playing very good basketball. They were playing really well. They knocked off a couple of big teams. Then we beat LA.
I think we did beat them the
I
last
think
time.
we beat the Lakers when LeBron came in town. I think we beat them. So we'll see how that plays out. I know the Cavs are in a tough position. I shouldn't be as hard on them. They're in a rough spot. Nobody's coming here. They're gonna get no big name free agent to come here. So they had to do some serious.
Do job, which is why you have to do a better job at your picks.
Yeah,
you have to hit on all your picks to make it an attractive spot. That's my only. That's my only issue is that.
So we do have to be fair. We do have to be fair and let Isaac Okoro get on the court before we pass judgment. Even though we didn't like the pick.
No,
and you got this kid, Dylan Windler, who they're high on. They're very high on this Windler kid, but he's technically a rookie still. So
we'll see. I mean, again, we have to. You're right. We do have to allow the guy to play, or all those guys to play. They're here now, and like I've always been, maybe I don't like the pick, but when you're in the uniform that I'm going to root for, I'm just hoping that you know what these guys prove me wrong. You know what I mean? Like show me where I went wrong in my thought process, and I'll be fine with that. But until you show me that I was right, we shouldn't have drafted you, or we shouldn't have traded for you, or we shouldn't have signed you. And that's how I'm always going to feel when it comes to any of my teams.
Right.
But it is what it is, man. Let's go ahead and wrap up. We've been at it for a minute. So let's
you know one thing we didn't do? We didn't do our NFL picks, man.
We didn't do our NFL picks. Okay. Well, people, you gotta stay with us for a few minutes.
So we gotta do. So we did the Browns already, so we just need to do 4 other random games.
So let's hit it. 4 other.
All right, let's do. I'll pick one, then you pick one. Let's do. Colts and Texans. So the Colts are going to Houston. Indianapolis is a 3.5-point favorite on the road. So I'm going to go with.
And the Texans are 4-7.
I think they've won 2 in a row. So I'm going Texans straight up on that game.
I actually think that I'm gonna go Texans as well.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna say that's an easy call.
That's a trap game for Indianapolis.
I think so too, and that's why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling. Like, I think that's a good. Let's see. So I think I'm gonna go Texans. So I'm gonna pick the Detroit Lions, who are traveling all so far to Chicago to play the Bears. The Lions are 4-7, and the Bears are 5-6.
And the Bears are reeling right now. I mean, they've fallen. They've fallen for grace. Detroit is awful too. Did the coaching change? Oh man, the Lions never play well on the road. But the Bears stink. I mean, the Bears offense, they have a pretty good defense, but their offense is anemic. So I'm gonna go the Lions. And Chicago is still favored by 3, which is surprising.
Well,
that just shows how much faith they have in the Lions going on the road.
They're just at home. That's all that is, bro. They're at home. And
so with that offense still. And I think Mitchie is starting again. Mitchie Trubisky.
Man, it don't matter who their damn quarterback is. They all suck. They all suck. All of them dudes over there are mediocre to awful.
I'm going to pick the next one. All right, Saints and the Falcons is in Atlanta. New Orleans is a 3-point favorite. Now I'm going to surprise people, and I'm going to pick the sorry ass Falcons. And the reasoning
because
is
they
that I don't trust Taysom Hill to win 3 games in a row. That dude is out there winning, freelancing. He's literally out there playing street ball. Like it's him, 11 receivers, and he the artificial quarterback. That's how he's
yeah,
out there playing.
that's how it looks too. Honestly, like he keeps
And
winning, and
yep,
they look decent doing it, but I don't see anything that even if the Browns were doing this, these guys would be killing us. But because it's Taysom Hill, they're giving this dude some level of love. I agree with you on that, though. You say you
I'm
picking.
going with the Falcons. Now, what I didn't know, the Saints had a #1 defense in the NFL. I don't know when that happened or how that happened.
I don't know how
But
the hell either, but I'm actually gonna go with the Saints because of the defense. That's the only thing.
okay.
I don't trust what we've been seeing out of the Falcons. The Falcons do the same thing every week. Every week, these dudes lose. I don't know how they do it. I don't even know why they do it. I can't, like, there's no explanation. I have friends that are Falcons fans and they can't explain it. But seeing that and expecting that, I think I'm gonna go with the Saints.
Yeah,
Even
well, they
though they
did us
don't
a
play
favor.
well out of the dome,
Yeah, but they're playing in another dome now.
but they're in another dome. And that's exactly where I was going. So I'm gonna go with the Saints.
All right.
So
And you can pick the
the
last
next
one.
game, the next game or the last game, because we already picked the Browns uh, and the Titans game. My next game is the Rams, who are 7-4, are going into Scottsdale down into Arizona to play the Cardinals, who are 6-5.
Well, the Rams have been a little bit on a roll, but neither one of these teams are consistent.
Nope, they
I
are
think
not.
the Cards have lost 2 games in a row. That's a tough one, man. Rams are favored actually on the road by 2.5, which says a lot that Vegas doesn't trust the Cards, but I'm gonna go with the home team. Again, I'm going Cardinals.
I think I'm gonna go Rams.
Okay.
Like you say, I think the Rams being on a quote unquote, if you want to call it that, a roll. I'm buying that. I think that they're just kind of in a spot where I think they know that. Listen, if they lose this freaking game, if they lose this game, the Rams lose this game, they may not make the playoffs. Seven and
They may
four.
not.
The
Yeah,
Cardinals are
especially being
6-5.
behind Seattle.
Yeah, if
Seattle's
they lose
still
this game,
winning.
they may not make the playoffs. So
You know what? And I used to like watching the Rams until they destroyed their uniforms.
I
Now they're
don't.
hard to watch
Well,
now.
and they seem to be on TV every week, by the way.
I don't know. It's
But
hard. I don't know what is going. You know what? I'm not gonna go on that tangent because we could be here all night. But it's just hard to watch. It's got that yellow like glow stick on the side of
yeah,
the helmet.
right
I
at
don't
the
know
bottom.
what that
It's like
thing
right
is.
at the bottom, and then it goes
Right.
up into the blue or whatever. Listen,
It's
I said the
awful.
same thing. I didn't when I
It's
saw that,
horrible.
I was like, "What the hell is that?" And it's not on every one of their uniforms, by the way. So if somebody goes and looks at their uniform this week, maybe they don't have them on. But I don't know if it's their home uniforms or what, but they have a uniform where the bottom of their numbers are like a sunshine yellow, and then it kind of fades into this dark blue, and it's not dope. It's not dope at all. Just keeping it 100. It's
No,
not.
it's not. All right, man. So, are you have anything else that you wanted to say? I'm done.
I don't
I
have
said everything I
anything
wanted to say
personally.
tonight.
I think we covered everything I wanted to talk about today. Uh, Again, come check us out on our Facebook, on our Instagram, Two Guys at a Mic, the number 2 TWO, and a Mic 216. Come like our pages, come like our posts, come check us out. We also have a
Yeah, like I
YouTube
said
page.
before, interact with us a little bit. We'll be more than happy.
Yeah, for sure. I try to interact with everybody who says anything or likes anything. I try to interact. I try to make it interactive. We try to make it interactive as well. So come check us out. Again, our YouTube page. Come subscribe, come comment, come like it. It's Two Guys and a Mic 216 at YouTube, and of course our audio streaming. We have Anchor, we have Google Podcasts, we have Apple Podcasts, and we also have Spotify. Come check us out, Two Guys and a Mic 216. We're there for y'all, but ultimately we're there for us. So I think that's my spiel, Sean. I'm done. Love you, homie. Have a good
love
week.
you too, man. Have a good rest of the week.
Check you in on Sunday, man.
Yes, sir.
Go Brown.
Right. Go Browns.
Go State.